Yeah, we are live, buddy. Listen,
Mm.
a lot of turmoil going on in the Northeast in the sports realm. Ben Simmons,
A lot of players want to get paid for doing nothing.
nothing. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's like the entire Democratic congregation in sports. Just they just want to sit around and just get free money, the free money plan. They want to get the free money card, and that's what Ben Simmons wants to do.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving sitting around for nothing.
Sitting around trying to justify why, he doesn't want to play a professional sport anymore over something silly. And Ben Simmons,
Bro,
both of these guys, like, yo, what are you teaching what are you teaching these kids out there? If you make
entitlement.
it big enough, you can sit home and collect $150 million.
This is all y'all fault. Everybody wants to cater to everybody's feelings. Everybody wants to
Mm-hmm.
make sure everybody's not offended. This is what happens. This is y'all fault. This is the world that you at home, all you cretins and you troglodytes and you neophytes out there want to make sure everybody's feelings are catered to. This is what happens now. Ben Simmons ruining literally nuking the season on day one. It's
Mm-hmm.
unbelievable. Kyrie Irving. People like think about the argument that they're giving Kyrie, and we're going to talk about these two later on in the show, Bert. But they're basically what he's saying is, if I don't agree with something, if you don't agree with something,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's saying, and
Yep.
and people are actually actively supporting it. It's bad, and I know we're going to talk about them a little bit later. More importantly, Bert, the Seattle Kraken
Yeah,
are here.
they are here.
And we're probably not going to talk about them much until later. Well, no, we'll talk about them in the show. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
a
bring 'em
little
a
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, ain't nothing wrong with that. We're also going to talk. Obviously, NFL Week 6 is about to kick off. Case Keenum didn't know he was in the league, and apparently he's a backup for the Browns. All of us won in the bucket of doom last week.
I know.
I mean, it's starting.
Quite the
Things
turnaround.
things are starting to. I mean, we're also entering the best time in sports, right? World
Yeah.
Series is about to pop off. We got a
Yep.
great championship series in baseball. NHL opened up a couple nights ago. NBA started last night. My beloved Sixers, the post Ben Simmons era has kicked off tonight, and it's going pretty well. Not a big fan. Joel Embiid's already grabbing his knee halfway through the first quarter, so it's
Yee.
not a good sign. But we'll talk about all that and more, Bert, coming up next.
Sports.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Stuff About Sports. I am Germ. That's Bert. What's up, man?
What's up? What's up? This is, you said it. It's the most exciting time in sports because we have all four major sports going on at once.
Yeah. This is what we've been waiting for. It seems like it's funny. The NBA kicked off last night. And a funny, crazy stat. This is the third time the NBA season has started in the last calendar. Well, I don't know if the term calendar year or whatever. The last 12 months, we've had three starts to an NBA season. We had the original season, and then we had the stoppage because of COVID, and then we had the bubble, and now we're having this season. We had that shortened off season, which they rushed everybody into the bubble, which Kyrie Irving said he didn't want to be a part of, and then he was also out partying, unprotected,
Yes.
unmasked with strippers, and so which is probably why he didn't want to play in the bubble. He wanted to go look at some ass.
Well, the irony of it is he didn't want to play in the bubble because he didn't feel the NBA could keep him safe in the bubble. Flash forward to now, he doesn't want to take a vaccine that could keep him safe because it's something he doesn't want to do. So I don't.
Bert, you're speaking in logic. We don't do that here.
I don't. Yeah,
Not in
I don't
Kyrie
know.
Irving's world.
No, I mean, I think maybe he feels as though the antidote for COVID comes from strippers. And hey, I'm all for researching that.
Yeah, me too. Listen,
Yeah.
Bert, in my history, I can say with firsthand knowledge that there's one thing that cures everything, at least for men. I mean, and for some women out there. And let me tell you, it works every time.
Yeah.
So I mean, for the kids out there, I know We're not quite at 9 p.m. yet, so we'll keep it PG. When 9 o'clock comes out, though, I'll inform
Trump was
everybody.
looking for that super soldier serum in unique ways.
I got, oh my God, yeah, and all the dark crevices of New Jersey too. Shout out to Bordentown.
Oh.
There was a couple nights there. I thought that was it for your boy. Frank, what's up, man? Thank you for joining us. Ricky, man.
Ricky.
Shout out to the Pain Train Pipe Bomb, arch rival show, Sound Machine FM. Ricky does a lot of stuff. Sign me up. You're damn right. Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we can. Hey, Ricky's in that part of New York, in that area where it is abundant. I remember leaving the Mets game and we drove through Chinatown, and I said, "Listen, the Cure is out here somewhere, walking the streets, ready to go. You just have to have $20." So, Bert, let's get started. Week 6, we have a little bit of a late start. We didn't do the show Tuesday because yesterday I was on shift saving the world. So here we are on Wednesday. Who were you most impressed with, and who were you most disappointed with in week 6?
I mean, disappointment has to go to the Miami Dolphins. I get it. I mean, it's tough playing in London, but for the same point, you're really going to lose to the Jaguars. Now, I mean, you could, on the flip side, say that someone could be most impressed with the Jags, and as bad as Miami is, I did not feel that the Jags were better, and it seems as though that they didn't have the game in itself. And I have a soft spot for Miami as a fan, being that a good portion of my family are Dolphin fans, so I don't hate against them by any means. I just honestly think that they blew the game themselves and just couldn't absolutely keep it. So if I'm starting on a sour note, one of the biggest disappointments has to be the Dolphins. In terms of beneficial takeaways, I honestly thought, and I know you're not going to like this, but the Titans, huge win for them. Nothing against the Bills. It's Derrick Henry being an absolute machine.
Yeah.
And once again, rushing for over 100. What do you have, like 3 touchdowns? It's insane. It's so insane that when you look at Tannehill's QB numbers, I think the most touchdowns he's thrown in a game so far this season is 3. Other than that, he's throwing 1 or 0, and that's because they have this workhorse of a running back that's just unstoppable and on par, should he keep up with the snaps and the yardage, to break Dickerson's record by week 16, which would have been a normal season, if you will. I know we have the extra week this year, so God forbid he does it in week 17. There's going to be asterisks everywhere in terms of record breaking. I'm sure we're going to encounter that from now on. But no, most impressive has to be the Titans, especially against the Bills defense. And you being a Bills fan, know how tough that defense is.
Yeah, and we did. I mean, and if you really think about it, we did there's no stopping Derrick Henry, and we did a pretty good job all night. There was some key third downs that I was disappointed with some of our coverage. Ricky says Arizona most impressed, and he's most disappointed in Buffalo. Listen, man, I get it, and it's not really about the defense, because I think the defense did enough. I was disappointed more in the offense. And Bert, me and you, I've said this to you, I think in our private group chat and here on the show before. The Bills have to start converting in the red zone. We get away with it because we were playing bad competition and we can afford to score 40, 30 points. And we scored a lot of points here. We still scored 30 points. Yeah. The problem is we had the first 2 possessions of the game. We had the ball. We got a 3 and out, and we got the ball in their red zone and only settled for a field goal. Then we got a turnover where we started well into their territory and could not punch it in the red zone. That's the game right there. You score a touchdown on 1-2 of those drives, that changes the momentum of the game. But you leave a team like the Titans, who are a good football team, and if you leave them in a position to win, and that's any team, if you give them a chance to stay in the game and give them life, you could have ended the game in the first quarter if they wanted to. The Bills really could have set the tone and ended the game with those 2 drives, selling for field goals. And then Brian Dable, he gets a lot of credit, and I've criticized him before for trying to be too cute. We did the Philly special in that game. I don't have a problem with it. But there was some other, he was throwing jet sweeps on 3rd and 6. It was just, there was a lot to be disappointed. Josh Allen, trying to be too much of a passer, was missing the wide open middle lanes that these guys were giving, because he was sitting in the pocket waiting for Diggs or Sanders to beat somebody deep. Mm-hmm. And then when he ran, he decided to run to the outside, completely ignoring the wide open lanes. Those are 4, 5, 6 yard chunks that keeps the defense honest. That could have changed a lot. So there was a lot in that game to be disappointed by, specifically the media. If the Bills want to be taken seriously, you have to win that game. Those are the games you have to win. And it was just a big disappointment for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you can't leave points in the field. And, there's a time and place to get cute with your play calling. And there's also a time and place to be bold with your play calling, too. And,
I
it's tough
agree.
to argue settling for field goals that early in the game. But I think confidence in such a high-powered offense would go a long way and even put the game away earlier, like you said. Ricky on the comments of play calling was horrible. Take the points when you get the chances instead of taking gambles. So similar. Overall, I mean, you have to kind of be impressed with the Steelers too this past weekend as
Yeah.
well. Obviously starting out the first, I'll give them 4 weeks of being absolute trash of the season, coming in and beating the Seahawks. Now the Seahawks aren't the same defensive team as they used to be, but going into this week, looking at that matchup, I bet you a lot of people in their pick'em leagues picked the Seahawks over the Steelers, and I mean, credit to them, man. They just kept on it, and huge overtime win.
Yeah, I was having a hard time deciding who I was most impressed by, and I decided to give it to the Cowboys. And I'm technically going to cheat because I'm going to do this twice. I was most impressed with the Steelers because T.J. Watt, like you said, was a monster in that Sunday night game. He had 7 tackles, he had 2 sacks, he had like 3 or 4 deflected passes. And he had a forced fumble, which happened to be his 20th career forced fumble that led to the game-winning drive for the game-winning field goal. It led to the drive that got the field goal for them to win the game, and that's super impressive. But the team I was most impressed with, and I hate to say it, and I feel like my lips are going to burn off, them Dallas Cowboys, man. Trayvon Diggs. I mean, we should have done a segment. Maybe we will next week, or you won't be here next week. Oh,
Nope.
Quick news. Bert's going to take 2 weeks off. He has work and life stuff to do. But thankfully, we have a good support system around this network. Ty is going to fill in for Bert next week, and then Mike is going to fill in for him the week after, and then Bert will be back November 7th.
We'll be back.
Yeah, Bert, he has to do a little business and then some pleasure, which is well-deserved for him because he works really hard. But
man.
Yeah, Trayvon Diggs is amazing. He has 7 interceptions for return. He has, I think teams are 10-3 when they have at least one defensive return for a touchdown in the NFL, and he has multiple of those. Like, he's responsible for that. So the Ricky, you have an open invitation to come, whether Bert's here or not, whether I'm here or not. You can come on the show anytime you want and talk sports with us for sure. And Dak Prescott, 455 passing yards.
Yeah.
Bert, that was 50 more yards better than the next guy, who I can't remember who it was right now because it doesn't matter. Whoever the next guy was, Dak had 50 more passing yards than him. That's half the football field, Bert.
Yes. No, I mean, absolutely. Dak, he was an animal. He did drop back 51 times.
Yes.
We have to recognize that.
Not ideal. You don't want.
Not ideal. I'm tired just looking at that number, but you can't ignore the 445, 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception overall. But hats off kind of to the Pats too. I mean, Mac Jones, 15 for 21 with 229 and 2 touchdowns and an interception. But great rushing game overall, especially in a team that really doesn't have an established backfield, I'll say. I mean, they rely on Harris, but overall, I mean, you see guys that split time. But I would say of the afternoon games, certainly one of the most exciting wins, especially because it's overtime. And then, of course, the way Dallas basically had that walk-off, if you will. I mean, what a pass by Dak, and then just kind of right into the end zone. It was perfect.
The Cowboys are good, man. I hate to say it. They're just a good team, bro. It's like I don't even know. Like, I can't hate on them. I'm a Bills fan and all that stuff, and I know I'm not supposed to like the Cowboys, but man, these guys are good, bro. They're just a good team. And it's funny because Mike McCarthy is not the reason why they're good. They're not good because they're coached well. Mike McCarthy is not a good coach. Kellen Moore will be taking over that team, and they probably just need to go ahead and do it now and just get it over with because everybody knows that old boy is not it. He's not it.
No. I mean, and a lot of people are going to say, like, oh, well, of course the Cowboys are going to be good. They're in the NFC East, which is just a trash division all around. But, you'll see some games on their schedules, especially ones coming up where that'll really test them. I mean, look, they beat the Chargers, which I think is huge. A lot of the other games on there, they didn't lose a lot to the Bucks on opening night, if you will. But I mean, yeah, I mean they blew out the Eagles. They stomped the Panthers, the Giants, of course. They just absolutely demolished. But this was a hard fought game and a tough win. I think you'll see going into, because they're off this weekend with the bye. They come back and face actually another team that was also on the bye this week. So when they come back in week 8, they have Sunday night game against the Vikings, which should be honestly a really, really good one with both of those teams coming off of some solid rest.
Yeah, for sure. Sad thing is if they didn't commit all those penalties, that game is not even close. Yeah, for sure. I mean,
discipline.
Bills D cost me my fantasy game. Hey, listen, the Bills cost me my pride. I mean, you lost your, I mean, I went to bed. I stayed up late for that game, man. I mean, it was it was a bad thing. So, I kind of already did it with my most impressive, Bert. But there's a QB apology tour, and I've got a lot of hate. Actually, I'm gonna go back because I did want to read some of this stuff because we put this question out for most impressed, most disappointed, and we didn't get a lot of impressed, but we got a lot of disappointed. Well, the impressed were Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray. Shout out to my guy, Joseph Tafuro. I served with him down in Barksdale many years ago. He is a huge Cardinals fan, and he's been trying to tell me about the Cardinals and Kyler Murray just much like Ty has. So I wanted to make sure I specifically went for him. He is one of my QBs that I have to apologize to. But some of the worries, Bert, can you guess this team that this guy is talking about? His name is DJ. Our president of football ops, our biggest disappointment, our president of football ops, our GM, our coach, our offensive line, our aging defense, our tight ends, our salary cap, our rivals QB, our outdated stadium, our remaining schedule, our lack of draft picks, our throwback uniforms. And did I miss anything? What team do you think he's talking about?
I mean, honestly, there's a couple rolling through my mind. Could be talking about the Giants. Could be talking about, I mean, the Jags just won, so I don't know why anybody would be disappointed in that. Could be talking about the football team. But I think they were on a bye list. So I honestly, I don't know. Is it the Giants? Is he talking about
it is the Chicago Bears.
Oh, the Bears. That would make sense. Yeah.
He was very disappointed. I didn't get many Giants. I think
we just expected at this point. I mean,
you expect it, and you guys are just hurt. Like it's just, I guess you can I don't know if you can be disappointed that the team is hurt. I know that I guess overall you can be like you have, but I think the season already kind of played itself out before all the injuries happened. So there was really nothing to be disappointed about.
As Giant fans, we go into it every single year. How have we gotten better, especially with our offensive line situation? And they put some pieces together, but as soon as preseason started, it's the same old Giants. And then the year started, and you're like, it is the same old Giants, and it's half. I'll be honest, I think it's half a QB problem, half an offensive line problem, because that stemmed back even when Eli was still with us. Yeah. It's just it's going to be a rough couple of years. Yeah. It absolutely is going to be. So I mean, look, we'll see how it shapes up. Any other disappointments? Yeah,
the Lions, because we're the Lions. He said biggest disappointment. The Panthers offensive coordinator. A lot of talk was saying the offensive coordinator was a genius, but he hasn't seen it yet. That's Larry Lee. My friend, she says that she's a Raiders fan, and she was actually impressed by the Raiders, saying that she didn't think that they could regain their focus after all the Gruden controversy, and she was happy to see that they rallied around the interim coach. This guy, Eric Nebbia, I don't know who team he's talking about, but I'm guessing it's a division rival. But he said, I'm disappointed that every time we play, I guess whoever the Ravens just beat, the Chargers, every time we play the Ravens, the refs, anytime you play the Ravens, I'm disappointed that the refs continue to make calls and make calls that help the Ravens win. Is John Harbaugh paying the refs? I guess he's a Chargers fan.
He's got to be. But listen, I mean, you lose 34-6. It's not just an officiating problem. I hate to break it to you. Yeah.
And he says, Aaron, another Bears fan, disappointed in the Bears, but Aaron Rodgers is to Chicago what MJ was to New York. That's a great comparison, man. Yeah. That's fantastic. That is an awesome comparison. So Bert, QB apology tour. People think I've been dancing around it. I might as well get him out the way. You just talked about Lamar Jackson. Yeah. And I'm going to apologize, Bert. I'm going to apologize to all the people out there that think I'm going to apologize to Lamar Jackson. I'm sorry that you think that I'm going to apologize to the most overrated prospect in the NFL. You know what? I'm sorry, Lamar Jackson, that your coach literally coaches schemes to help you in every situation. He coaches you out of bad situations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry that the refs always make calls in your favor and give you calls. You get the Patrick Mahomes treatment.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that your defense has carried you. I'm
that is
sorry that
very true.
I'm sorry that you barely beat the Lions off of a miracle longest field goal of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just listen, Bert. I have a monopoly on the truth, and all I can do is tell the truth on this show. Lamar Jackson just throws the like. You can look at the box score for anything,
Mm-hmm.
and try to make a case and make anybody look good. All right,
Mm-hmm.
look how many yards he did. Oh, he scores this many points. Blake Bortles was like the number one fantasy quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And fantasy is nothing but box score.
It is. Yeah.
Clearly, it doesn't matter what the box score is because you could be of value in some capacity. So I don't want to sit there and talk about, oh, he threw for 455 yards. Guys, it was against the Colts. Everybody relax. Now,
Yeah.
they did just beat the Chargers, but the Steelers
Yeah.
also beat the Bills. So it's like, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, but to your point, I mean, they have a very strong defensive team. So whenever you can hold Justin Herbert to under 200 with a touchdown and an interception, I think you're doing your job right. And they held. I'm looking at the numbers now, man. They held the Chargers rushing to under what looks to be 30 yards the entire game, which is wild to me. But then, like you said, you're not going to apologize to Lamar Jackson, and I don't blame you because, to me, he's a mobile quarterback. I get it, but everybody wants to try to defend his passing. He ain't shit. I hate
No.
to break it to everybody.
No.
He's not.
No.
He threw for 167 with one touchdown and 2 interceptions against the Chargers. Don't get me wrong, great defensive team, but I feel like we go through this every single game. Like, yeah, he puts up numbers because he does have legs. He's rushing 9 times out of 10. You're going to find him with a rushing touchdown and 50 plus rushing yards in itself. But when you look at his passing yards, I can almost guarantee you it's under 200 almost every game, unless it's against those like indie teams where he's just going to absolutely demolish them.
Yeah, but that's the argument. Oh, he threw for 300, 400, whatever the yards. It was the Colts, guys. Relax, everybody,
Yeah.
relax.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with you on this one. I also will not apologize to Lamar Jackson, and I still think there's some truth to be had because when he is exposed, when you play good defensive teams and expose a mobile quarterback like that, he's completely shut down. Completely shut down. They give him the old Cam Newton treatment when everybody figured Cam out after his first year. It was donezo. So I think that's what we're seeing overall.
Bert, I have to apologize to Kyler Murray. He's all he can do is win games. He's amazing. He's probably the best athlete in football right now. It's just amazing that a guy like that can pull off some of this stuff. I don't know if I'm going to apologize to the Cardinals, but I will apologize to Kyler Murray. Sir, I am sorry. I'm going to apologize to Sam Darnold. I thought you were the one. I put too much faith in you, sir. I thought you were going to be the guy to uplift the Carolina Panthers, and you weren't, and so I am sorry.
Yeah, it was looking good for Sam for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was also looking good for Jared Goff a little bit, albeit a rocky start. Still a terrible start with the Lions, but there was some inkling of hope there, and now it's just like, no, we're good. We got it. Yeah.
I want an apology from all of you out there. Cam Newton's not good, okay?
No.
And all these people like saying, "Oh, Cam this, Cam that." Mac Jones is good, man. Sorry, don't know what to tell you. People should apologize to me. I told you guys Cam Newton sucked for the last 6 years. It's not Cam. It's not the Patriots. It's not this. It's not that. I think everybody else owes me an apology for Josh Allen. He's the man. I think I deserve an apology about that. I'm going to apologize to Baker Mayfield. I've been hard on him too.
Yeah.
That guy's tough as nails, bro. And the team is better without OBJ. I know the narrative is that the Browns need to get OBJ the ball, especially now that Jarvis is out. Listen, OBJ is a good receiver. That doesn't make you, and you hear the old adage, just because you were a good salesman doesn't make you a good sales manager. Mm-hmm. Just because OBJ is a good receiver overall doesn't mean he's a good receiver for the Cleveland Browns. The team is clearly more comfortable when he's not playing. They were one-dimensional and bad until he went out with an injury, and then all of a sudden they went on a run. Now he came back in, and things like that. But that's not an accident that, and it's also not an accident that the team was losing before he had his ACL tear, and all of a sudden they're one of the best teams in the NFL. It's just so, and a lot of people are blaming Baker.
No, I mean, yes, they are. I mean, it's tough. You can't blame a guy like Baker who, I mean, last half of last season absolutely crushed it. Good start this season. He has been faced with some minor injuries from week to week, and now he completely tore a muscle in his non-throwing shoulder. So he's already
Torn
ruled
labrum.
out. Yeah, he's already ruled out for tomorrow's game. They did come out and say his status for week 8 is unknown, so that he could come back. But yeah, he is tough as nails. And I think there is something to be said that when OBJ returns, there is you almost see a different team. It's almost as if there is this kind of added pressure of like, hey, do we get him the ball? Is he still what he used to be? I remember when the Giants traded him away, I was like, what are they doing? Like, what is happening right now? But I think there's also something to be said in that, and especially how it carried over into Cleveland too. I mean, I don't know. Unless they sharply turn it around tomorrow and the weeks that follow, it is going to be almost like, is he a cancer? And can he ever come out of it?
Yeah. And then obviously I got to apologize to Dak Prescott. He's amazing. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Mike, you're right. Instagram owes me an apology. I was hacked. For those who don't know, I was hacked. I tried to reactivate my account and it said my name was Bolin Miraj, whatever the hell it was. It didn't make sense. It was just a bunch of letters. Nothing Instagram can do. Follow me at Spread Germs with an S. So let's move on to basketball, Bert. And we talked about it a little bit on the warm up.
Yeah.
Drama kings all over the NBA. These guys out here. We're going to start a segment called the BP Awards. I'm not allowed to say the word anymore. Mike's wife yells at me too much. But we're going to start giving out BP Awards to some of these guys, specifically Ben Simmons. But the question...
Just call them let's just call it the loser awards. Like there's no other way to put it.
Yeah. It's sad because you're talking about two ultra-talented guys. Mm-hmm. The question here, Bert, is if you had a team and you had to have one of these two players on this team with all of everything encompassing, not at the height of their powers, not like everything right now that they're dealing with is involved. And today or tomorrow morning, you had to choose one of these guys to be on your team. Who would you rather have?
Honestly, I'd rather have Kyrie. At least he's trying to make an argument for what he's feeling, for why he doesn't want certain things and why he's not playing. And I get it. We've had this conversation before. Like, if you don't want to get the vaccine, you don't have to. But guess what? If your employer is making you, that means you're not employed. Like, plain and simple. So at least he has reasoning. Ben's just being a dope, man. Like he's being a loser, and he's showing everybody out there that generation of everybody gets a trophy. That I can do whatever I want. I'm still going to get paid $150 million to basically sit on my hands. And it's just not cool. And it's showing, and I hate to be that guy of like, oh, what is it showing the children? But what is it showing these kids coming up now? The fact that if you sign a big contract, and I get the way the contracts are and the way they're written, he's entitled to this money even if he does not show up. But like, you're going to cry about it? Like you just don't want to play. That's his reasoning, right? He just does not want to play for Philly.
He doesn't want to play for Ben Simmons. He's scared to come back and face the crowd. He's not built for this city. Ben Simmons is not the SAD Awards.
The SAD Awards.
He's not. Bert, we've lived in this market our whole lives. We understand the city can handle failure, right?
Yeah, it has.
What we can't. Well, I mean, that's all the city has known.
Yeah,
failure is not the problem here. And Philly fans get a bad rap for being too hard on their players. No, this market, the New Jersey, Philly market, Delaware, we work hard. It's tough out here. And I know a lot of people like to rep their city and rep their area. It's harder to make it on the East Coast than anywhere else in this country. I don't care what anybody says. And I've been all over. Let me tell you, there's nothing like Philly. New York, Philly, that Jersey. Listen, it's tough. You have to be a different type of person to make it here. Okay, you can live here A lot of people live here. Not a lot of people make it here. And and Ben is from Australia. Steve Zuccari says, I don't think he could play in any tough market. I don't either. And here's the problem. And here's the thing. He's already shown what he is. Joel Embiid, I appreciate his honesty with all of this. This franchise from day one coddled him. And Bert, I've said it to you. I was done with Ben Simmons years ago. I was like, yo, this dude, Kobe Bryant invited him to work out.
Yeah.
Him and Jason Tatum after his rookie year. Jason Tatum said, hell yeah, you're Kobe Bryant. I'm going. Jason Tatum's one of the best players in the league. Ben Simmons said, you know what, Kobe? I'm good. I'm going to go hang out with the ugly Kardashian. Not even the good-looking one, the ugliest one. That moment right there, Bert, I realized Ben Simmons was not the franchise player we thought he was going to be.
Nah.
And I was done with him then. And then we gave him the extension, and I almost lost it. I was like, that is a mistake. They need to get rid of Ben Simmons, let him walk, and bring in some shooters. Now, looks like we're going to get that chance. What I think is going to happen is we're just going to send Ben Simmons away and fine him and make our money back from him. He came to camp to stop his money from bleeding, and he doesn't want to be here. He's getting kicked out of practice. Doc Rivers is going to punish him by suspending him for tonight's game.
Yeah.
And he'll make him play at the home opener on Friday against Brooklyn. So his first taste of basketball will be home. He should have just practiced like a regular person, like it says in the collective bargaining agreement. The collective bargaining agreement says you have to play. This is why the Nets need to be finding Kyrie Irving. You don't have to play well. You can come to practice and play like shit. Ben Simmons should have just did the drill and half-assed it. At least he would have been told to sit down. But if you're going to flat out refuse to do things, that's against your contract. That's against the CBA. You can be fined for that.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I would take Ben Simmons over Kyrie Irving is because Ben Simmons' situation is easily fixable. He just wants to be the man. He doesn't want to be in Philly, and he wants to be the man. So I'm assuming I'm not running the Sixers. I'm running my team, and I'm running it in a hypothetical situation where how can I fix this problem the easiest? The reason why I'm choosing Ben Simmons is because his problem is fixable. He just wants to feel appreciated, and he doesn't want to play with Joel Embiid. Fine. The problem with Kyrie Irving is I don't know what he wants, right? He sat out in the bubble for health concerns. Then he came back after sitting out the entire bubble season when the other season, part two of the middle of the 2020-2021 season came I think he played for a month or two, and then he took like a month and a half off and said he needed a break for his mental health.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You just sat out the whole bubble. You just had an off season. You've only been here a month. You're taking a month off. You're taking 10 weeks off for some mental health shit. Like it's in this, and that's the problem I have with the people. Like I respect and care about people's mental health. I don't respect people who use it as a crutch. Bro, you are a millionaire. You get paid millions of dollars. There are people struggling out here. You know what you do? You wait till the off season and you go pay for a high dollar therapist because you can. You go fucking travel to the Lakes Minnetonka because you're the only and you can bathe in the salt waters and the oil and the Irish Springs out there.
Why wait till the off season? Just on
an off day, you could do anything.
Yeah, on an off day, yeah.
Your job is to play basketball, and you sign a contract. And I'm gonna sound like a jerk when I say this, but get your nuts up, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like your job is to play ball.
Yeah.
And you can't just be like, oh, it's Tuesday, I need a mental health day. What do you mean, bro? You're leaving your teammates hanging. And it'd be one thing if this was tennis, right? Or if this was golf, where it's a singular person sport and everything is only on you. But when Kyrie Irving does shit like this, like, I'm not taking the vaccine because it's a vaccine. And now I'm not taking the vaccine because I want to be the voice for people who don't want to take vaccines. Not that I don't believe in vaccines, but I'm also unvaccinated. Like, what do you want? What is your stance? That's the other problem I have with it. What are you actually sitting out for? Like, you're not really defining what it is. And there's too many
part of me
problems
thinks
there.
that like someone from the media department within the Nets should sit him down and say, look, I'm not going to change your mind, but let's see how we can soften it when you do go out to the media so you don't sound like a moron.
Yeah.
But that's obviously something that they're not doing and won't do. Here's my thing and why I took Kyrie. That he's got it, like I said, he's got his own personal choices. I understand where he's coming from, and I mean, he wants to look after his mental health, so he wants to take time off. The reasoning you gave for Ben Simmons is the exact reason why I don't want him. If I'm building my team and my franchise, I don't want someone whose feelings are going to be hurt. If I bring in an asset and someone to make the team better and he feels as though he's being upstaged when he should be feeling as though we're putting the right pieces in place so I can get the hardware at the end of the season. So I don't want to have to worry about someone's getting their feelings hurt for making a better team, or better yet, if they're like, oh no, I don't think I can make it in this market, and the fans are being mean to me. Like what is that? You're a professional athlete. And I don't get me wrong, I get words hurt sometimes. Everybody has feelings, but enough. You're paid millions of dollars. If someone wants to shout from the stands, whether they're a Philly fan or an opposing team fan, that you suck, or they talk about you, or they trash talk you, guess what? You know what doesn't suck? Finishing the game, knowing that you're still a professional athlete making millions upon millions of dollars and being able to go home and just being like, you know what, tomorrow's a different day. I have the means to get to the gym early and start working out, and maybe I won't suck. Or guess what? Hey, I may suck, but guess what? I'm going to sit here and count my money. That's my take. But again, I'm not a professional athlete, and I come from a different background. So grass is always greener. I don't know what it's like to be in these guys' shoes, but I would like to try.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, they have cool shit, drive cool cars, and have plenty of money, which is something, honestly, it seems nice. So
it seems really nice,
seems
which
great,
makes it even worse.
I know.
I don't know what you do. I know there's a lot of talk of a Kyrie Irving for Ben Simmons straight up swap trade. They're going to get traded. I don't know who gets traded first. I would assume it'd be Ben Simmons because his situation is more toxic to the team. I think the Nets are willing to wait it out. Real quick.
Unfortunately, the Nets' problem it's beyond the league. It's honestly it's the state of New York, and that's what's forcing the hand for them. So I mean, he can go to another team where their state mandates aren't that they're vaccinated and play. I mean, a lot of states have them now, but that's where a lot of the problems come from in itself. So,
well, you know what? And there's a lot of idiots out there they're sitting there thinking, oh, well, if he was on an away team, he could come to Brooklyn and play. Yeah, you know why? Because it's not illegal. This is the law here. You understand? He plays for a team where the state requires it, which makes it a law. Mm-hmm. If you go out and get a DUI on a team, guess what? You get in trouble, man. You don't play. You know what I mean? If you do something illegal, your team will send you home, just like the Nets are doing. Bro, what he's doing is against their mandate, against the law. We can argue about the morality of the law all you want. That is the totally separate discussion. You are choosing to not honor your contract because in your contract, you are to follow your state's laws. Your job is to show up and play for the team. If you are actively choosing not to play for the team because you decide not to follow the law, guess what happens? What exactly happened to Kyrie Irving? You get to go home, buddy, and now we're going to fine you. And now, and if you want to look at it as they're forcing him to take a vaccine, oh well, because you know what else? Doctors and nurses and teachers all lost their jobs because they didn't want to take the vaccine. That there is a freedom there. You don't have to work there. We're not stopping Kyrie Irving. That was the one argument I saw. You're stopping him from being able to make a living. No, we're not. Go fucking work at McDonald's. Go work somewhere else. Exactly. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a basketball player. You can find a job, not New York, because guess what? Whether you work at McDonald's or whether you work somewhere else in the NBA, you have to be vaccinated to work there. Yeah. So
I mean, look, I mean, his only other option apart from being traded, if the team would ever want to part with him, is for him to retire. And then if things shape out in the years to come and he feels as though he's still in shape, come out of retirement and play for a team. If anybody's going to want to sign him, because honestly, I get it. You'll have arguments on both ends. Like, it's his body, but if he doesn't want to get it, he doesn't get it, that's fine. But what he's being, honestly, is selfish. Yeah. And I don't know how people can play with the likes of a Kyrie Irving or a Ben Simmons at that, because they're putting themselves before their team. And I think that's the biggest argument for that anybody needs. Like, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Retire and call it quits. They're both, in my eyes, kind of being babyish about it, because you have other players that have been in similar situations and did get vaccinated because they wanted to play, or, just sucked it up because they wanted to be, for the greater good of the team, and they can share a spotlight. So, I mean, both of these gentlemen are just at the moment, just absolute losers.
Greg Walter, listen, slap nuts. Ben Simmons, when you say the team tried to trade him, he has the right to be upset. No, he doesn't. No, he
He doesn't
doesn't have
want
the
to play
right to
for
be
the
upset.
team.
Not even that. They're talking about. He's talking about when they wanted to get James Harden.
Oh.
I see that argument too a lot. They already tried to trade him before. How would they expect? Do you know why they're trying to trade him? Because he refuses to get better. There's a little bit of context you're missing in that stupid, flawed argument you're having.
Mm-hmm.
If he just did 1/10 of what Giannis Antetokounmpo has been doing ever since he's gotten in the league and actively tried to be better, worked on his game, evolved his game, just like Giannis has done every year he's been in the league. If Ben Simmons even tried to do that, he wouldn't even have been part of no trade talks for James Harden.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we were going after James Harden, because we realized Ben Simmons ain't it. And we've been babying you for 4 years, and we had a chance to get James Harden. And if you didn't want to be the guy, we had to get somebody who was willing to do it. Now, ironically, we're probably going to get James Harden anyway, because he's not signing the extension in Brooklyn, because Kyrie Irving, once again, is burning up another team, and he's not signing with Brooklyn. He'll be a free agent next year, and he wants to be with Daryl Morey again. So we end up winning anyway. We just have to wait till after this season, and we'll probably just sign James Harden for nothing. And which is why the Sixers.
I got to hear you switch your tune about James Harden once he comes to Philly.
Listen, if James Harden becomes a Philadelphia 76er, listen, Bert, I'm all about new beginnings. I'm all for second chances.
That's what I love about it.
See.
There we go.
All right, Bert, we're having some really good baseball talk. Red Sox are losing right now. That's a great day.
I think
My
they
Houston
lost, to be honest
Astros
with you.
keeping it alive. I'm really excited about that. So it's odd because when I was watching some of these games, it seems like every time I turned on the TV, the Red Sox were hitting grand slams.
Mm-hmm.
And they were winning, and then all of a sudden they let the Astros score like seven points in an inning the other night. And I believe they're losing. I believe they're losing right now. So
they lost already.
The game's already over.
The game's over. The Sox lost 9-1 against the Astros. Houston now leads that series 3-2.
Yeah, it's over.
And then the Braves are beating the Dodgers right now 4-0 in the third. But as we learned, no lead is safe from LA because
Listen,
the
Cody
Braves
Bellinger,
were up.
man.
Yeah. Honestly, here I think the Astros are going to go to the World Series.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about it, but guess what? If Boston went, I also wouldn't have been happy about it as a Yankee fan. But I could be surprised. I mean, honestly, to force a game. Let me put it this way: if Boston forces a Game 7, I would bet Boston to go to the World Series.
Yeah.
But as it looks right now, with the way that the Astros have now walloped them 2 days in a row, I'm betting that the Stros would go in itself. I still have faith in Atlanta, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You don't count out LA, but Atlanta seems to have it this year. And I know Mikey's not going to, or you're not going to like it, especially being Met fans. But I do think that Atlanta's going to go to the World Series. And should it be Atlanta and Houston, I would put my money on the NL this year and definitely go with Atlanta.
Listen, and that's not a wild take, Bert. I mean, the Dodgers were 5 outs away from being down 0-3 in this series. I mean, it just took a miraculous 8th inning with Cody Bellinger and Mookie Betts. That 3-run homer that Bellinger hit. I mean, he was dead in the water until he got to LA. Man, people didn't. He kind of reinvented himself, and that's awesome. I like seeing stuff like that. I would love a Dodger Houston World Series. I would. It'd be great. Mike says Dodger Stros would be epic as Boston Yankees back in the day. Yeah, for sure. I mean,
when Pedro Martinez hit or threw a 70-something-year-old man to the ground, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was great, right, Mike?
Hey, listen, my grandma, Mama Edwards, always used to say, "Don't raise that voice unless you're ready to raise them hands." That guy charged at Pedro. I don't care what anybody says.
Charge is an overstatement.
He charged.
He walked briskly to him. I will say. Yeah.
Hey, listen, Don Zimmer. He went. Listen.
He didn't want the smoke.
Everybody wants to be gangster until it's time to do some gangster shit, Bert. And Don Zimmer.
I give him credit because none of those young bucks in the team were going after Pedro, and this short little waddly man walked over and then loved Zimmer, but he walked over to him and he got tossed. He got tossed like Like Pedro was tossing out the trash, is what it came
Yeah.
down to. Yeah,
I was saying, and Pedro's from a dangerous part, Puerto Rico down there, man. So don't,
is he?
So listen, Bert, NBA, NHL. I'll let you go because NHL's what 3-4 nights in.
2 weeks.
2 weeks in. I thought it's been
Or
a couple nights.
a week.
A week. Okay.
A week.
I
Yep.
know about
A
to say. I was
full
like, I
week.
feel
Yeah.
like it just started.
Well, at least for me, the Rangers last Thursday was their home opener. So yeah, a little over a week. They're back. It's good to see hockey back in full form with fans in buildings. Honestly, my Rangers off to a decent start, 2-2. But some of the newer expansion teams like the Kraken not off to a good start in itself, 1-3. But look, 82 game season. There is a lot of hockey to play. And it's just exciting. Plus, I mean, the Kraken, as they make their way through the Northeast, and playing some of our local teams here, I mean, their sweaters are just so nice. The white away ones, they're so fucking clean. I can't get over it. And look, more hockey for everybody. The city of Seattle is absolutely getting into it. It's something you love to see.
Yeah,
we got some bandwagon fans in this area that are getting into it. Whatever brings more people to hockey, Germ, I'm all about. So you know what? If you don't like hockey, you want to jump on the wagon, be a crackhead, go for it.
Bro,
Support the Kraken. Support the NHL.
I am a full crackhead.
Yeah, let's
I am
go.
down. I got the shirt. Welcome to the crack house.
Yep.
On the way. I just ordered it the other day, and I can't wait to wear it. The two things are helping NHL: the Seattle Kraken, and they won a game I think last night. I think that was their first win or
They
whatever.
lost the Devils last night.
They lost the Devils last night.
Yeah.
I thought they just won a game 4-3. I can't remember what. Maybe that was.
They did.
I thought that was the other night.
No, Monday they lost to the Flyers. Maybe Saturday.
They
did win one game.
Yeah. And it's okay, man. Listen, they're an expansion franchise. Like we were spoiled by the Golden Knights.
Yes.
And
but even the Knights that season had off like to a shaky start, and then they
Yeah.
picked up steam as they gelled together. So they won last Thursday, their opening night, actually, against the Predators, against Nashville.
Hey, cool. We'll do it. But two things: the Seattle Kraken, the excitement about that. Like I said, what's going to help them even more is if they're good, and we'll see. It's early. And then NHL getting that ESPN deal. Guys like me who have ESPN Plus, and we kind of saw the fruits of this last year, albeit with no fans. I mean, there was a hockey game on all the time, and I caught myself watching it because there was nothing else on to watch on the app. And I watched a lot of Calgary. For some reason, Calgary Flames have the ESPN app Plus because I felt like every time I turned on the app, the Calgary Flames were playing. Best uniforms in hockey.
Yeah,
and so,
that deal that they made is certainly going to bring more people back to it because it's going to get more exposure.
Yeah. Yeah, and fighting is in hockey, so yeah.
Yep.
But then we had the NBA. First night, Milwaukee Bucks versus the Lakers, stomped them.
Yeah.
Not the Lakers. I'm sorry, the Brooklyn Nets.
Yep.
And stomped them with the Kyrie less Brooklyn Nets, and so the main thing out of that is the Bucks are still the Bucks. I mean, it's a good thing for a small market. That's one of the best things to happen is having a superstar, a true blue superstar, who has worked on his game, has carried a small market, and that team is built correctly. They get these sweet ass championship rings, Bert. Sweet rings.
Yo, sweet is an absolute understatement. These things are filthy, and it's just, and the fact that you can turn it into a necklace, dude. I saw it and I was like, and it's not. I mean, aside from it being absolutely gigantic, it's not too over the top. I will say it's like the perfect amount of just like classiness. But man, I'm impressed.
So the emerald that's inside that makes up the Bucks logo is 4.14 carats, and 414 is the Milwaukee area code. So that's by design.
Okay.
That's awesome. Underneath, you can actually lift up the top, and there's a QR code etched into the inside of the ring. And if you scan that QR code with your phone, it'll give you a championship. It'll pull you to a championship video that's like hidden. You can't look it up online. You can only get it if they show you. It's like something that they made. Now, I'm sure it'll make its way online at some point, but it's like a special highlight video of the season that the players can show off to friends and family and stuff. And then obviously, like you said, there's a little clip that comes out, that folds out, and you can turn it's not like it doesn't turn into a full blown chain, but it has the hook so you can put a chain, so it becomes a pendant basically.
Yep.
So for the days that you don't want to wear it on your hand, you can wear it around your neck. And as a firefighter, I appreciate that. It doesn't really happen nowadays, but because the invention of these beautiful silicone rings.
Yeah.
But back in the day, we had to take our wedding rings off. You don't want metal when you're walking into a fire, and a lot of us, especially in the military, would put it on our dog tags or a little chain or something. It was just easier to carry around. So the fact that they did that reminded me of that. Steve Waldman, what's up, man? Go Rangers. Yeah. So and then the beauty, Bert. And listen, I am always knowing, and I love saying "I told you so." But watching LeBron James and what is probably his 14th super team lose to Steph Curry, little baby miniature Steph Curry, and a bunch of role players brought me the greatest joy. I stayed up until 12:30 to make sure that they put a nail in LeBron's coffin. Now, LeBron played well, scored 36 points or something crazy like that. Probably need to check him for like horse tranquilizers or the super soldier serum. Yeah. This guy's like the ageless wonders, 19th season. Never questioned his athleticism, never questioned his work ethic. I just questioned why people keep putting him in the top 5 when he's just a glorified journeyman. The fact that Steph Curry and that team beat them, and Klay Thompson is about a month or 2 away from returning, brings me great joy that the Warriors are finally back. It'll be good to see them. They're missing their number 1 draft pick from last year, James Wiseman. He should be back here relatively soon. We got the Sixers playing. The New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics are playing. It's just good to have basketball back. Much like hockey, we had crowds last year, but a lot of it was like that bullshit 35% capacity, 25.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't the same. But now we have full blown fans in the stands. Great to see that a lot of these stadiums are, hey, still wear a mask or bring your vaccination cards. They're trying their best to kind of filter all that out, but there's only so much you can do, and I think the world's kind of accepted that, and I think it does help the basketball players. I think it's a lot different playing in front of people than it is in a crowd setting. So
it helps and hurts, man. You're the home team. You are getting pumped from your fans getting behind you, or your fans are getting underneath you, and it makes you want to play more. And then for opposing teams too, I mean, it's a chance for fans to get into their heads and chirp away at them. It's great for everybody, and most importantly, it's great for us fans to be able to get back into that environment too safely and just be able to cheer on our favorite teams.
All right, Bert. Time for Steve's trifecta.
Let's go.
Before we do this Sunday, I don't think he gave us a time, but Sunday morning, be on the lookout for the Divide. They're going to do a parlay show in the morning before all the games start. I don't think there's a London game, so I don't know.
There's not.
So
No.
They'll be on, I guess, sometime around that time, 9:30, 10-ish, before all the games start at 1 o'clock. But shout out to the Divide, and then it was presented by Fast Break Coffee. Go over to fastbreakcoffee.com. Free shipping for everywhere domestic. And, of course, the new sponsor, FanDuel, for all you bettors out there. And I will continue to say, fuck you, North Carolina. I'm trying to bet on some sports. So, listen, Bert, Steve's about 5-1. And last week he went a perfect 3-0. And he's giving out free money. He's giving out more. He's giving out $300 every week if you take his picks. Damn. Last week he gave out $300 to all of our listeners. Like Joe Biden's child tax credit, man. So take his picks, take his bets. He's really good. This is what he does. He does it every weekend. So this week he has the Seahawks plus 6.5. I don't know who they're playing. I think they're playing the Browns this Thursday, right? I think that's what it is.
No, so the Broncos have the Browns on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
The Seahawks are playing the Saints on Monday night.
A lot of belief in Geno Smith. Hey, listen, Geno Smith outplayed. It was just that turnover. Like, if you look at the stats, Geno Smith played really well. So, it's not as bad as you thought. Dolphins, minus 2.5. He's taking the Dolphins. Some breaking news that the Dolphins may have a new quarterback, Bert, in Deshaun Watson. There's a lot of smoke saying that there's a 3-team trade in the works where Tua would be headed to the Washington football team. And I would assume Taylor Heineke would be heading to Houston and Deshaun Watson would be heading to Miami.
To
and
start
some
though,
sort of
would they
package.
actually? Oh, man, I don't know. I mean, why would you trade for him if you're not going to start him? I mean, look, the Dolphins are going to be Dolphins.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me if this is the play and this is what they do. But yeah.
And of course, the Bengals plus 6.5. That's a good pick, man. Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase are starting to click. I picked them to win the AFC North. That's still not out of the question because I think the Bengals are starting to figure it out. I think they have the quarterback. I think next year after the season, wherever they end up, offensive line. I said it last year, but I was wrong. You got Jamar Chase. It worked out. Now you have a running back. Now you have a quarterback. Now you have a wide receiver. All 7 of your draft picks better be offensive linemen. And then fire your coach because Zach Thomas sucks. I mean, so again, Seahawks 6.5, Dolphins minus 2.5, Bengals plus 6.5. That's Steve. That's sports bet Steve's trifecta. He's 5-1 on the season, so we'll see where he ends up here. All right, Bert, it's time for the bucket of doom.
Let's go.
Hey, listen. We kind of cheated last week because I had a bye week, but all of us did win in the bucket of doom, so that's actually pretty cool. So it's the first time that's happened. I don't think that even happened last year. So shout out to us.
Yeah.
So we had a week, and that's odd, man. We've had a week where we all lost, and now we've had a week where we all won. So, all right, Bert, you're up. Mike is listening, so Mike, I'm going to trust you to contact Ty and Corey and see if.
I'm gonna text them all right now.
Yeah, you're gonna text them all right now. Okay. So Bert, you actually let's pick for them, and then we'll do me and you.
All
right. So Corey has the New York Giants.
Oof.
That's
I mean, I'm guessing they have the Panthers.
Oh man, Corey, that's a tough. Okay, listen, Mike has the Bills. They're on a bye week, man.
Bills are on a bye. Congrats, Mike.
Mike, here you go, man. Hey, Mike is going to be 2-5 on this season now, climbing right back into it. If Mike says throw it back, then I'm not going to do it because he's just trying to be funny.
Corey wants to throw his back. He says, yes, throw that shit back.
Okay. All right. Pick it for Corey.
You know, with 6 teams on a bye, there's a chance we can all pull bye teams.
Corey has the Buccaneers.
Oh, no, the Bucs are not on a bye, but it is the Bucs, and they have the Bears.
All right, cool. So that's a dub. It's like a bye. It's kind of like a bye.
Basically, yeah.
For Ty now, we might have to call Ty because he don't be answering his text fast enough.
He was active today. He was
active today. All right, for Ty, the Jacksonville Jags.
Jags are on a bye. Ty wins.
Oh my God, this is crazy. So Ty is now the first winning team at 4-3. Man, instant win, 2 instant wins. Mm-hmm. All right, Bert, you're up. Bert has the Bears.
Oh, no, throw it back.
Yeah, throw it back, right?
No way.
All right, Bert. Got you with the Colts. Ugh.
I mean, better than the Bears. They got the Niners on Sunday night, so we'll see.
Hey, the Trey Lance Niners, not terrible. Hey, listen, not terrible. Well, that's another quarterback we should apologize to. Jimmy Garoppolo. Let me tell you something. When Jimmy Garoppolo plays with the Niners, he wins. Okay? The Niners win games. Okay? When Jason Rodriguez, what's up, man?
So, Jay?
Check out Big Jason Gaming. But when Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't play, it's not like the Niners win sometimes. No, the Niners lose all the time when he doesn't play. So people need to apologize to Jimmy Garoppolo. All right, I'm up. I have the New York Jets. No thanks.
Yeah,
I don't care who they're playing. And then I know they're not on a bye because they just were on a bye.
They got the Pats, so
yeah. That's not that bad though. But I'm good.
I don't know the way that the Pats were just dealing against the Cowboys. I'd throw it back too.
The Panthers. Fuck.
Panthers have the Giants.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'll take it. Listen,
yeah.
I'll root for the Panthers. Shoot.
I mean, you're in the fucking state. You may as well, right?
Yeah, no. Now I got it. Now I got to actually. Now actually, Jimmy G is nice, but can't really perform under pressure. I don't even know about that, man. I mean, he was one play like a few yards away from a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like it's. Here's the thing with guys like Jimmy G, Kirk Cousins. I think Daniel Jones, fits into this category.
I would never put Daniel Jones in that company.
I know it's hard for you right now.
Yeah.
And I think that has less to do with Daniel Jones and has a lot to do with Jason Garrett and Joe Judge. Hey, listen, fight your coaches, Joe Judge. I like it. But you can't be Tommy Tithouse out here, tough guy Timmy. Fucking
Tommy Tithouse.
You can't do it when when your team is losing. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants tough guy Timmy around. And you have to have some humility. I get what you're trying to do, but that works in college. That doesn't work in the NFL. And Joe Judge is like Dan Campbell to me. I want it to work. I really do. But you have to adjust your way a little bit. And you don't have that earned arrogance yet to be that way with your team, especially when you have Jason Garrett calling your plays for you. And I mean, that's awful.
Yeah, I mean that happened with him in the Cowboys too, when he was calling the plays as head coach, and then finally they forced him to give it over to his offensive coordinator, and then that's when they started to be a little bit better, so to speak, in itself. I mean, look, Jimmy G, honestly, I can't agree with the fact that he doesn't perform under pressure. Like Jerm said, I mean, he was a play or two away from winning a Super Bowl. He does well under pressure. Plus, he bangs porn stars. So, I mean, the man performs under pressure, wholeheartedly. So,
I'll never doubt that man again. So, shout out to Jimmy G. All right, Bert, who gets your game ball this week?
We referenced him at the top of the show, and just purely for his performance this past weekend, you have to give it to T.J. Watt. The dude's unstoppable. Just a defensive player of the year candidate.
I am going to give mine to Candace Parker in the Chicago Sky.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row.
I got to do it. I mean, they won the first major title. I gave it to them last week, right? Didn't I?
Yeah, you gave it to her last week. Yep.
Oh, I did.
It's all right. Let it go. I mean, honestly, let it roll.
Listen, the more I look at it, and because you know what it is, they did their parade yesterday, or today. Mike, we did not forget about you. You pulled the Bills, bro. They're on a bye week. So Mike texted us in our group chat saying we forgot him. No, we didn't.
We did, bro.
You pulled the Bills, and we immediately were jealous and celebrated your victory. Yes, it's real. I don't know what he's saying. So, yeah, he missed that. First time we pulled the Bills, you get a bye week. I've been trying to get the Bills all week, all year. But yeah, you know what? I will give it to them. I mean, it's her hometown. It's a fantastic thing. It's their first major title since 1998 or something like that. It's for the city. And it's good for the sport of the WNBA. WNBA's ratings have climbed, Bert. Attendance has soared. They have a new commissioner. The NBA, I've been kind of on them about supporting the WNBA more financially. They do support them in terms of like the players showing up to the playoff games and showing up to the games in the city. A lot of the Phoenix Suns showed up when the finals, when the Mercury were playing at home. A lot of the Chicago Bulls players showed up when they weren't practicing, getting ready for their season for the Sky. And I think a lot of the NBA world supports Candace Parker, so a lot of them showed up for her, and I hope they kind of keep that momentum going. And so I just wanted to shout out again. I just saw the thing. I was like, yeah, I got to give them. I forgot that she was from Chicago. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was
dude, it's a perfect story altogether.
It's a perfect story. I don't know if she's going to call it quits, but I have to get that. Bert, real quick, we should have mentioned this. We should have found a spot for this before we get out of here. Do you want to curse out the New York Yankees real fast?
Oh. I don't want to. I mean, how much time do we have? No, I know we have to. So listen, Hal Steinbrenner's ruining the team. Cashman needs to go. I don't know why you sign Aaron Boone, a losing manager, to another 3 year. What is it? Another 3 years with a 5-year option? Like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Joe Girardi did more with a team that's arguably less and got fired for a winning season. I don't understand it. Apparently, they see something I don't. But I don't think there's any one Yankee fan that is incredibly happy about this. And this is just going to be 3 more years of just absolute pain. So prove me wrong, Aaron Boone. Prove me wrong that your only claim to fame won't be coming off the bench to hit a home run to advance to the World Series that happened, 18 fucking years ago? And now I have to look at your face as you make bad decisions as a manager so I can just continuously 160 whatever games of pain. Some will win. I get it. But when it comes time for meaningful baseball in October, you can't get your team to show up and piss a fucking drop. And now I'm going to have to look forward to that for the rest of the next 3 years. So prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Aaron.
But Bert Steinbrenner said that he's the solution.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Can't do it.